The Taiwan Strait, just over 100 miles wide, serves as a narrow but critical body of water separating the island of Taiwan from mainland China. Its strategic location has made it a focal point for regional and global tensions, drawing the attention of governments, militaries, and citizens around the world. In recent years, this stretch of sea has become one of the world's most dangerous flashpoints, a place where the risk of miscalculation or escalation is ever present. On one side stands China, a rising superpower with a rapidly modernizing military, determined to reclaim what it considers a breakaway province. Beijing's ambitions are clear, and its rhetoric has grown increasingly assertive. On the other side is Taiwan, a vibrant democracy of 23 million people. The island's citizens are fiercely protective of their autonomy, cherishing their freedoms and unique identity. For them, the threat from across the strait is not just political, it's deeply personal. Today, August 7, 2025, the standoff has reached a boiling point. Tensions are higher than ever, and the world is watching with bated breath. Military drills on both sides, diplomatic threats exchanged daily, and a sense of looming crisis dominate the headlines. The region is gripped by uncertainty, as each new development could tip the balance. The world watches anxiously, aware that a conflict here could disrupt global supply chains, devastate economies, and send shockwaves through international markets. The stakes extend far beyond the region. The United States and its allies are drawn in, conducting joint military exercises and holding urgent diplomatic meetings, signaling their commitment to regional stability and the defense of democratic values. For the people of Taiwan, the threat is a constant backdrop to daily life. Air raid drills, news of Chinese aircraft incursions, and the ever-present possibility of conflict. Anxiety and uncertainty permeate the air, as families gather around televisions, hoping for reassurance, but bracing for the worst. The stakes are enormous. Sovereignty, national identity, and the ideological divide between democracy and authoritarianism are all on the line. The future of the global order hangs in the balance as world leaders debate and strategize, aware that their decisions could shape history. The Taiwan Strait is now the ultimate test of will, military strength, and international resolve, a crucible where the fate of nations, and perhaps the world, will be decided. The invisible line that once separated China and Taiwan in the Taiwan Strait has all but vanished. Once a tacit boundary respected by both sides, it now exists only in memory, as Chinese forces cross it with increasing regularity and confidence. Chinese military aircraft and warships now operate around Taiwan almost daily, their presence a constant reminder of Beijing's growing assertiveness. These maneuvers are no longer rare provocations. They have become the new normal, a relentless drumbeat of intimidation. Fighter jets, bombers, and drones breach Taiwan's airspace, testing the island's defenses and exhausting its military resources. Each incursion forces Taiwan to scramble its own aircraft, stretching pilots and equipment to their limits, and keeping the entire nation on edge. Chinese naval flotillas encircle the island, practicing blockades and sending a chilling message: nowhere is safe. These exercises simulate a real siege, demonstrating China's ability to cut Taiwan off from the outside world at a moment's notice. This is grayzone warfare, constant pressure, psychological strain, and a war of attrition designed to wear Taiwan down. The stress is unending, as soldiers and civilians alike live with the anxiety of a potential conflict that could erupt at any time. Each maneuver is a rehearsal, familiarizing the PLA with the terrain and tactics of a potential invasion. These drills are not just for show, they are detailed preparations, allowing Chinese forces to refine their strategies and adapt to any resistance they might face. The goal is clear: make the threat of invasion feel inevitable, eroding Taiwan's will to resist. Through propaganda, military displays, and constant pressure, Beijing seeks to instill a sense of hopelessness, hoping that fear will do what force has not yet achieved. For Taiwan, the cost is immense: fuel, maintenance, and the relentless toll on its defenders. Every day of heightened alert drains resources and morale, as the island's defenders struggle to keep pace with the unending demands of readiness. China's message to the world is clear: this is our backyard, and any intervention will be met with overwhelming force. Beijing wants to deter not just Taiwan, but also any foreign powers who might consider coming to its aid. Beijing is betting it can win without firing a shot, by grinding down Taiwan's resolve, sowing doubt, and undermining confidence in the island's ability to defend itself. Psychological warfare is as much a weapon as any missile or warship. The pressure is unrelenting and the world is watching. As tensions rise, every maneuver, every statement, and every show of force is scrutinized, with the fate of Taiwan and the stability of the region hanging in the balance. For Taiwan's 23 million people, the threat from China is ever present, yet daily life continues with remarkable normalcy. In Taipei, people work, shop, and enjoy their freedoms, but always with an eye on the news and the next air raid drill. Taiwan's military is on constant alert, scrambling jets and maintaining aging equipment under relentless strain. The psychological burden is heavy. One mistake could spark a war. The government walks a tightrope, projecting strength without provoking Beijing. President Xi Jinping insists on maintaining the status quo: de facto independence, strong defenses, and international partnerships. Instead of weakening Taiwan, China's pressure has strengthened its national identity and resolve. Young people overwhelmingly identify as Taiwanese, not Chinese, and support for sovereignty is at an all-time high. The lesson from Hong Kong is clear: Taiwan will not accept Beijing's rule. China's military drills are more than saber-rattling. They're rehearsals for invasion. Each flight and naval patrol tests Taiwan's defenses, maps radar coverage, and identifies weak points. Naval encirclements practice blockades, training the PLA Navy for real-world conditions. These actions normalize China's presence, lowering the threshold for future aggression. It's psychological warfare. Beijing wants Taiwan to believe resistance is futile, but the risk of miscalculation is high. One accident or misunderstanding could trigger a rapid, uncontrollable escalation. The crowded skies and seas of the Taiwan Strait are a powder keg. Military leaders everywhere know a single mistake could ignite a catastrophic conflict. On paper, China's military dwarfs Taiwan's. 2 million soldiers, the world's largest navy, and a massive missile arsenal. Taiwan's forces are smaller, with older equipment, and vastly outnumbered. In a direct fight, the odds seem hopeless for Taiwan. But geography is Taiwan's ally. The strait is rough, the beaches few and fortified, and the terrain favors defenders. Taiwan's soldiers are highly motivated, fighting for their homes and freedom. The PLA lacks real combat experience, and an invasion would mean brutal urban warfare. Taiwan has spent decades preparing for this scenario. Any invasion would be a bloody, costly slog, far from a guaranteed victory for China. Numbers alone don't tell the whole story. Taiwan's answer is the porcupine strategy. Make invasion so costly that China thinks twice. The focus is on asymmetric warfare. Mobile missile launchers, hidden in mountains and tunnels, ready to strike invading ships and planes. Portable anti-aircraft missiles and fortified beaches turn the strait into a deadly gauntlet. The entire population is being prepared for resistance, military reserves, civilian training, and a national will to fight. Ukraine's example has inspired Taiwan. A determined population can be a powerful deterrent. The message to Beijing: you may start a war, but you won't win it easily. Taiwan's strategy is survival through resilience and imposing unacceptable costs. The goal: make invasion unthinkable. For Beijing, reunification with Taiwan is central to the Communist Party's legitimacy, and to Xi Jinping's legacy. Facing domestic challenges, Xi uses nationalism to rally support and distract from internal problems. As the window for peaceful unification narrows, the temptation for bold action grows. The PLA's modernization may convince leaders that now is the time to act. But an invasion is a massive gamble. A quick victory would cement Xi's place in history, but failure could shatter the regime. The risks, military, economic, and political, are existential. The decision to invade is high stakes and deeply unpredictable. For decades, U.S. policy toward Taiwan has been defined by what's known as strategic ambiguity. This approach is intentionally vague, leaving open the question of whether the United States would actually come to Taiwan's defense if it were attacked. The ambiguity is not accidental. It's a carefully crafted stance designed to keep both adversaries and allies guessing. The goal is twofold: to deter China from launching a military assault on Taiwan, while also discouraging Taiwan from making a formal declaration of independence that could spark a crisis. By refusing to commit to a clear course of action, the U.S. hopes to maintain a delicate balance in the region. But as China's military power grows and its rhetoric becomes more aggressive, critics of strategic ambiguity are growing louder. They argue for a shift to strategic clarity. a policy in which the US would make an explicit public commitment to defend Taiwan against any attack from China. Supporters of clarity believe that a firm promise would send a strong signal to Beijing, making it think twice before taking military action. However, opponents warn that such a move could backfire, provoking China into a preemptive strike or emboldening pro-independence forces in Taiwan, making conflict more likely. In the meantime, the US continues to walk a diplomatic and military tightrope. It sells advanced weapons to Taiwan, increases military cooperation, and regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations in the contested waters of the Taiwan Strait, all while trying not to cross Beijing's red lines. Behind the scenes, Washington works to keep lines of communication open with Beijing, hoping to prevent misunderstandings or miscalculations that could spiral into open conflict. Diplomatic engagement remains a crucial tool in managing this tense relationship. Yet the fundamental question persists: if China were to launch an invasion of Taiwan, would the United States actually intervene militarily? The answer remains shrouded in uncertainty, fueling anxiety in capitals around the world. No one outside the highest levels of government truly knows the answer, and that uncertainty is both a source of stability and a potential trigger for crisis. It keeps adversaries guessing, but it also leaves allies uneasy. As tensions rise, the world is left watching and waiting, aware that the stakes could not be higher. The fate of millions and the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific hangs in the balance. For now, strategic ambiguity may be the only thing preventing disaster, a fragile peace maintained by uncertainty. Taiwan's fate is a global issue, because of semiconductors. TSMC, the world's top chipmaker, powers everything from smartphones to military hardware. A conflict would halt this supply, triggering a global economic crisis. Taiwan's silicon shield is a deterrent. Attacking the island would be economic self-sabotage for the world, including China. But this is also a battle of ideologies, democracy versus authoritarianism. The outcome will shape the rules of the 21st century. The world's peace and prosperity may hinge on what happens in the Taiwan Strait.